So I guess we'll start this off with that knife we just sort of mentioned. This is the Kershaw Launch 4. We've seen these a lot. These are very popular. And this one has the Ultem handle and the MagnaCut blade. We do love this combo. So MagnaCut, I mean, we did 2 videos in 2023 about MagnaCut. Did a field test. I really like it. I personally think that the reason you want MagnaCut is you want the toughness and you want the corrosion resistance, but with some really solid edge retention. If you want next level edge retention, I would go elsewhere. Maybe something like maybe S90V or S110V. And if you're feeling really fancy, maybe the Maximate, or if you can find one, something in one of the Rexes, Rex 45 or Rex 121, those will hold their edges forever. But MagnaCut will hold a nice, respectable edge for you. It won't be too crazy difficult to sharpen either. And then Ultem. So when this knife was originally teased, probably a couple of years ago now, it had a full Ultem handle, and the action was bedded in Ultem on this side too. And we got some prototypes in, and they were awesome. But Kershaw told us that, so we've been doing some research in the material data sheets and everything, and Ultem has a lot of strength similar to aluminum. However, it doesn't necessarily have the impact and compression strength of aluminum. And they're like, we're afraid that if somebody uses this, I mean, it's an automatic knife. It's tactical. They want to use this in those situations. They want something that can be used hard. And so just as an extra measure of safety, they swapped the aluminum on the back. So you can use this knife like a tactical knife, and you won't have any worry about your action failing or anything. But we still get that beautiful Ultem top scale. And what I think is kind of fun about this one is when you hold it like perfectly square, I can't see the camera here right now, but we hold it square, it kind of darkens, but the minute you give it an angle, it catches the light and it turns this beautiful honey color. Ooh, I do like it. Some people don't love the Ultem color, some people do. I can take it or leave it, but I think it's cool that we get it here on the Launch 4 because another great thing is it gives you a clear view into what's going on. So if you feel a grittiness in your action or whatever, you can probably see what's going on, and you can maybe get in some air compressor or some oil and clean it up without having to disassemble your knife. And there is a bit of a trick to reassembling an automatic. So keep that in mind. I carry a Curtis one-off custom. Man, people are coming in with some expensive knives today. It's just a Monday, guys, but you know, rock on. I'm truly jealous of all of you. I'm 17 and I've been addicted to blades for about 5 years, and it's y'all's fault. Well, I'd love to say I'm sorry, but I remember that. But the good news is you're almost out of the phase when people are worried about it. Because when you're a kid, you're like, oh yeah, I love knives. They're like, why? Because they're awesome. But when you're an adult, I love knives. Oh cool, let's talk knives. Look forward to that. That'll be great for you. Sorry, Joy Hopkins, you're not in California. But there will be giveaways in future weeks that will not be California only. And this one is just because you guys in California love us so much and keep buying our Kershaw Launch 4s. All right, by the way, the Kershaw Launch 4 here goes for $119.95, and it drops this upcoming Friday, not the 29th, 2/9, February 9th. I can read my own handwriting. All right, next up, we got the Benchmade Claymore OTF. And this one is a bit of a different take. So we've seen a lot of these front scale OTFs, like the gold standard front scale OTF is the Benchmade Infidel, and that one's bedded in aluminum. But this one, they use the full injection molded plastic here. And plastic, I think, is a strong word. This is not just plastic. It's not a Fisher-Price toy. This is a similar plastic to that they make guns out of. So a really cool knife indeed. Has a CPM D2 blade. Yep, CPM D2. Just double checking my work on that. And it's great. Goes for $360, double-edged, and it is a big knife. So you're getting probably a 3.5, maybe 4-inch blade here. But this knife is very, very light. So if you're one of those fellows that are like ounces are pounds and pounds are pain, then I would recommend picking up this if you're after a big OTF. Because I would have wagered that this is the lightest OTF in its size class. So very cool indeed. Next up, from Michael Birch and from WE Knives, we have the WE Harpen. And the Harpen, I really enjoyed this milling on the scale. So if you look at that, it comes all the way through. We'll see if I can like bring my hand. You can see it. It's almost like a window. Kind of gives me some covered porch vibes. But that not only lightens up the knife, but it also makes it a lot easier to clean. Because that way, if it's in your hand, there's still holes that stuff can fall out of. And then you can just blow air, or even just, there you go. It'll get a lot of the dust out of there. So in addition, it also gives it some nice grip. I do like this one. Titanium frame lock, nice flipper action, and it drops shut quite nicely. One thing I love about WE is they have really dialed in their materials to the point that they can start really stretching their legs with designs. So this one, they have your 20 CV blade, your titanium handle. A lot of WE knives will have that, but they can call up a lot of interesting designers and make a lot of really out there stuff and make it really well because they know their material so well, which I really appreciate. So the WE Harpen is going for $254.75. Let's go back to the comments. Greetings from Zagreb. No idea where that is. ED saying at Chavez Redencion 229 kickstop. Oh, you got the kickstop one. I do like the kickstop. I think it's a really innovative thing. The flipper vanishes. And man, those have been on sale actually recently. I don't know if they still are, but if you haven't picked up a kickstop, I would pick them up soon because those are a limited thing. There was a collaboration with Steel Addiction and Ramon Chavez. I was talking to him the other day. He was saying that it was one of his favorite mechanisms. That's one he carries. So I would recommend picking one of those up if you haven't yet. Any Blade exclusive Para 3 or 940s coming? Nothing that I'm allowed to talk about. We'll leave it at that. Okay, next up, we'll jump into the Kaiser Task. So this one goes for $82, gets you a 154 cm, this crossbar lock, and a raw micarta handle. And under studio lights, and when I'm talking to all of you good people, I get a little sweaty, so you're gonna see my fingerprints pulling up on this, but I do like the Task quite a bit. And what I especially like is this almost cleavery reverse tanto blade. It's gonna have a ever so subtle sweep to it. So you can still do some slicing cuts, but that point is very accessible if you're gonna be cutting packaging or cutting vegetables against a board or whatever. And even though I'm a drop point man myself, when it comes down to it, this is great for cuts in the hand. This is great for cuts against a table or a box or whatever, and that is the vast majority of the cuts we do on a daily basis. So if you're trying to live the examined life, like I resist doing at all costs, this might be a good knife for you because it will probably do all of your daily tasks really well for a very good price too. Very nice work indeed, Kaiser. Next up is a knife I've been very excited about, and we finally get to show it. This is the AGA Kempelen Dragonfly. So this is a special kind of gravity knife. It's an out the side one, and it has this slide that you can actuate there with your thumb. And let's see, it likes to be closed like this. But it has this really interesting folded steel handle, and then this section of the slide is folded as well, and then the blade will come out, and then it locks shut. It actually locks up pretty tight for all things considered. But this is a very fidgety knife and a very unique knife. And I especially like to see it out of AGA Kempelen. This is a company that has specialized for my entire career in stilettos, Italian style automatics. But now they have an interesting gravity knife that I think is really pushing the boundaries forward of what a gravity knife is. And I'm very curious as to how they bedded a pivot in this because that's just folded, and I don't see any hardware. So whatever the case, it locks up really nice and it's a cool knife. And I also like the price. These are going for $64.95. This one's got the black blade. Coming soon, we have a satin blade, but a very bizarre thing. I will tell you one thing, if you pick this one up, you should be careful about is the slide and the blade kind of occupy the same space. And if you're not careful or you get a little too flicky with it, you can close the blade on the slide and you might chip your edge. So be careful. But if you just play with it, like open it like that and then just use the little tab off the thumb slide here, you just push that. It makes it a lot easier to close without causing your knife any damage. But a very interesting knife indeed. A very clean knife too. I could see myself carrying this one. It's a 440C blade, a steel handle, 65 bucks. Not bad at all. Student from University of Idaho carrying my ZT-0223. Definitely on top of my small collection. Well, I hope your collection continues to grow, but that 0223 is pretty sweet. I love me some of those ZTs. Zagreb is the capital of Croatia. Wow. I don't think we've ever had a viewer in a live from Croatia, so welcome to the party. More than happy to have you. Oh, Stout Toss Me. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Stout Toss Me is Dallas Ray, our buyer. He's yelling at me in the comments. What did you ask? The 223 is one of my favorites. George, answer me. Okay, what do you want? Why are the buyers your favorite? Why are the buyers my favorite? Well, the buyers are the one who provides us with all these knives. I do appreciate them for that, but I don't know that I'd call them my favorite. I think I'm a video crew kind of guy. My buddy Peter and my friend Sarah over here, they're actually my favorite, Dallas, and I'm sorry, I love you, but they're my favorite. Should I get a Griptilian, Bug Out, or Osborne? I need it for my friend's birthday. By the way, first time live. Lincoln Elgren, welcome to the lives. Please join us next time. So I'll tell you, I have a Bug Out, a Griptilian, and a 940. And the one that lands in my pocket the most often is the 940. Followed by the Bug Out, followed by the Griptilian. No hate to the Griptilian. I love that thing. It just has a bit thicker of a handle, and sometimes I want something slimmer. And the Griptilian and the Bug Out, excuse me, the Griptilian, the Bug Out and the 940 both give that to me very well. The Griptilian is also a bit bigger and heavier. So I would say do a Bug Out if he's like more of an everyday kind of guy. But if he's somebody that likes to get out in the woods or likes to work with animals or whatever crazy stuff, I would go with the 940. I think the 940 is a bit more of the hard use take of that sort of size and footprint pattern, but the Bug Out is very nice indeed. And Stu Mayer says, sheep's foot thumbhole Griptilian. I'll tell you, that is my favorite Griptilian. Mine is the sheep's foot thumbhole. So if you are going with the Griptilian, I agree with Stu. Get that one. Okay, next knife on the table we have is the Civivi Button Lock Praxis. So this one's got a green aluminum handle and a big Nitro V blade, and then that nice button lock. So a few years ago, ProTech kind of kicked off the button lock flipper craze with the Malibu, and everybody else has been getting in the pool there. And I think Civivi is one of the ones that has dialed it in the best. It's just such a slick action. It's the perfect amount of detent to open reliably, but it's not too easy. It's not gonna like shake open on you. Very nice indeed. It's a nice big knife, but it's a very slim blade with that really tall grind. This is one of the sliciest knives I've ever held. It reminds me of a chef's knife, to be honest. And then you can choke up on it, choke back, choke way back. A very versatile knife, and I love that they use Nitro V. I like that blade steel a lot. It's really tough, and it has great stainlessness and decent edge retention too. So if you just get simple stuff to sharpen, it's not gonna be too hard to work with. All right. You pinned a comment. It says, what is your favorite knife from SHOT Show this year, and who are you looking forward to most at Blade? CBM M4 Para 3 Lightweight with titanium scales in my pocket today. I'm jealous of that M4 Para 3 Lightweight. That's super cool. But this year at SHOT Show, I actually wrote a blog about this. You can check it over out at the Blade HQ Knife Life. My top 10 knives of the show. My number one was the White River Ursus Cub. I love fixed blades. I remember Dallas, he's still in here. He told me that the best thing I should get is the, well, no, back up. He asked me what the knife I would carry for the rest of my life would be, one knife. And I said the White River Ursus 45, because it's just a perfect drop point, a very usable handle, a nice Kydex sheath. It could work in the kitchen, it could work all the other places. I said I would probably find a way to carry it a little more discreetly for everyday carry, because I only have one knife. However, now the Ursus Cub is out. Now, he didn't say I couldn't have an axe, so if I need a chop, I'll bring my axe. But for that one knife, it's gonna be that Ursus Cub. Because not only is it that, like that Ursus 45 shrunk down, but it's a Magna Cut blade, and I love it. I'm gonna get one of the first ones that come. Very exciting indeed. Okay, next knife on the table isn't, I guess we can call it a knife. This is the Flytanium Zenith Trainer. So for all you Bally flippers out there, this one was made for you. I was talking to the designer of it over at Flytanium, and he was telling me that he went with this because it was sort of a nod to the Zenith training blades they made for the Benchmade Morpho back in the day. I told him I wish it had a bit more of a blade shape to it, so that way we would know what the bite and safe is. But this is a piece of Flytanium history, and I do appreciate that. And that's really cool. But this is very premium for 60 bucks is what these go for. You're getting a milled aluminum handle channel, and then you're getting bushings and Zen pins. So you're getting premium parts and components. It's a very nice flipping thing if I can drop it and not hurt other knives on the table. See if I can do any cool tricks. Woo, woo, yeah. Battle song. I like to flip. I'm not that good at it. I don't have the passion for it that a lot of the Bally flippers out there do. If you're a Bally flipper and you're looking to get somebody into it, I cannot recommend the Zenith more. A very, very cool knife indeed. All right, let's see. George, will you be at the Texas Blade Show end of February? I'd like to be. I don't think I will be though. I have some other vacation plans for the year, but I hope you guys have a great time. By the way, to answer your earlier question, what you're excited for Blade Show, I was asked by Maury not to tell you specifically what it is, but there's a new case knife coming out at Blade Show that is going to knock your socks off. I love that thing, and he showed it to me at SHOT Show. Get excited. Okay, next up we have from Luft Concepts the RWB. So this one has the brass scale on the front. However, it doesn't, I thought it was anodized titanium when I picked it up because I don't know if we can catch this on camera, but it is very heavily milled on the inside. It's not as heavy as a brass knife ought to be, or would be. I guess ought to be is a strong word. Not as heavy as most brass knives, but it does have some good weight to it. And this, the brass version goes for $420, and if you want the full titanium version, those go for $350. But these are Luft Concepts. This is a brand that I think is a little bougie for my taste. There's a lot of you guys out there that are carrying, like somebody's carrying a Curtis custom today. Man, you have a much larger expendable income than I have. But if you like the finer things in life, this one is very fine. And one thing I really admire about these Luft Concepts is this grind. That is one of the deepest hollow grinds I've ever felt, and it is so incredibly slicey. My buddy Jacob, who runs the emails here, won one at a company party over Christmas time, and he let me cut some paper with it, and it like fell through the paper. It was just so effortless. A lot of cutting performance doesn't come from the sharpness of your edge, it comes from your grind. The hard part is getting that whole thick knife all the way through the paper, and that is a lot more about what happens behind the edge than the edge itself. And whoever's designing over at Luft Concepts knows that, and they do a really good job. Will some be available for somebody outside of California to get a crack for the Ultem Launch 4? So yes, on Friday, these will drop to everybody. However, for today, the giveaway is to somebody in California. So we'll do that after we do this knife, which is made in California. This is the Arcform Slimfoot Auto Joff Blowvelt design made by ProTech. And the reason I grabbed this one, we've seen this knife before, is this one is a black handle with the same copper finish we see on the Desert Warriors. And I always liked that finish. I thought it was like my favorite shade of FDE. I know the gun guys out there are like the 50 Shades of FDE thing. This is my favorite, and we get it on the black. I think in my dream Arcform Slimfoot, I would want this reversed. I'd want the tan on the handle and then up here, but this is here. If you like those Arcforms, check them out. These ones go for $210. All right, the time has come. We've been going for a good while here. We are going to give away the Kershaw Ultem Launch 4 to somebody in California. I will remind you of the rules. You must be in California for this. If you win the trivia thing we're about to give you here, we will not send it to you if you give us an address that isn't in California. So, this is for all you Californians out there. Got a pinned comment real quick. I really love that the storefront in Utah is open. It's right down the street from my house, and I've been there a few times in a month. Wow. Well, I hope to see you. Next time you're in, all the storefront folks know I want to come meet you. You sound cool. All right, to give this away, I have a trivia question that Californians should know quickly that I would never have known if Peter wasn't from California. The Port of Los Angeles is located in what bay? And we'll all be watching this to see who gets it first. You mean it's finally a win to be in California? I don't know, some people love it in California. The weather, the ocean, oh, I love the redwoods. If I could live like in the middle of the redwoods with nobody for miles around, I would do it. Long Beach, it's a good guess. Jake Sanford, can you get a shout out? How you doing, buddy? Oh, Benny N, San Pedro, good job. San Pedro Bay is where the Port of Los Angeles is located. And it is a big port. They call it America's port. It's like 7,500 acres or something of land and water combined to make that port. All right. So, Benny, please reach out to us over email or Instagram. We'll be waiting for you. I'll let customer service know if you choose email to be watching for a Benny N, and we will get this sent out to you ASAP. And the best part is we can legally send this automatic to California. Here at Blade HQ, we respect the law, so we're not going to send it anywhere that you can't have it. I'm sorry for everybody else out there, but we'll get this out to you as soon as possible. Everybody, thank you for joining us on this first live New Knives. We'll be doing this every Monday, and we'll be doing a giveaway every Monday. So please join us, and we'll see you next time. I guess we're still live, aren't we, Peter? Not anymore. Not anymore.